What's going on, everybody? It's the Wolvalion coach, Mike Jones, and you know what this means. You see it at the bottom of the screen. I'm here to talk about Terrence, Crawford for Saul Canelo Alvarez. But first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the videos, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. It helps us out, man. We marching on our way to 3,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We sneaking right down the back door. But as you see the title to this video, so there's no need for no real introduction about it, man. So let me get into it, man. Let me pull up a few things, a few of my notes, man, about this fight. First of all, you got Canelo Alvarez, 63 wins, two losses, one to Floyd Mayweather, and then the other one to Dimitri Bivol, which I've never heard of a rematch between them two. So I don't know. That's a whole nother can of wax. But he has 39 knockouts in those fights, so he's 63 wins, two losses, two draws. Um, that's how it is. Then you got Terrence Crawford, 41 wins, zero losses, zero draws with 31 KOs. So there you go at that, man. Now we all know that Canelo Alvarez started off his career dominating in that 140, 147 weight class, and since then he's moved up. He's moved up to 154. He moved up to 160. Moved up to 168. Moved up to 175. Um, and now he's back down to 168. Um, and you know what? I think he's ducking Benavidez. That's just my feelings. This is the second best fight I believe out there. Now this is the number one fight, Canelo versus Crawford, when it comes to the names and the advertising and stuff like that. This is a marquee matchup. But when you want to talk about boxing skills, what I want to see is Canelo Benavidez, but that's another story for another day. We're here to talk about Canelo and Crawford. This fight will be this fight will be what we wanted Floyd and Pacquiao to be. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Floyd and Pacquiao, it just the styles just didn't make for that exciting of a fight. This will be an exciting fight. Now you want to go on both these guys' last performances, which were not all that good. Um, Canelo Alvarez went against William School or School, however you say it. Um, School basically danced around. Um, pop Canelo here, pop Canelo there, and just kind of danced around the ring, circled around the ring, and it was just boring. And Canelo didn't really go for the win. He didn't go for the knockout that we all knew that he could get. So it was just like a boring, dull 12-round fight. Um, Terrence Crawford, his last fight against uh, Israel Madrimov, it was a little bit tougher than expected. Madrimov is a guy who's been, who's kind of avoided, and he's kind of like, got a little mystique built up about him, but he's not the best fighter, okay? And Crawford clearly had to dig in his bag, and I mean his bag, I mean his mind, and psychologically win that fight. And like I said, it just wasn't these guys' best performances. Crawford's best performance was the fight before against Errol Spence. When you seen that fight, he was on point with everything. His timing, his combinations, his footwork, everything was on point. Canelo Alvarez, people say that he's out of his prime. I don't think so. I think Canelo throws such big shots and such power that he has not had to use the skills that got him to this point. Like he didn't have to use the same skills that he used at 147 and 154. He's been more of a power puncher and things of that nature, but that's not Canelo if you remember how he started off. So if you just look at their body shapes right now, like you looking at all the talks about, man, Crawford is so much muscle and he's so much bigger, and man, he's going to physically dominate Canelo. And then look at Canelo on the side, and you're like, he's gotten slimmer. He's not as bulky. If you've seen like shots and snapshots or photos of Canelo, he's not as bulky as he usually is. And I think that right there, Canelo trimming down, Crawford bulking up, that makes a clash for a good fight. Now, I will tell you this: that muscle that Crawford put on might hurt him in the long run. And I know a lot of people thinking, "Oh, he's so powerful." Where that will hurt him is, and I believe that, against all popular opinion, against the people who think this, I think Canelo Alvarez will get a late round TKO on Terrence Crawford. And the reason being is the extra muscle that Crawford is carrying. Now, if you break down, what type of fighters they are, Crawford is not a "I'll make you miss" type of guy. He's not a he's not like a Floyd Mayweather just dance around and make you miss. Crawford is a sit in the pocket and I use my mind and I outshoot you. He gets hit a lot. Like if you watch that Errol Spence fight, Crawford gets hit a lot. But Crawford always has that dog in him to come back and to give it to you. And at 168 against the type of puncher that Canelo is, you cannot do that, right? So me personally, Crawford's road to victory looks kind of like this, in my opinion. He starts out the first couple rounds, you know, he boxes, he moves, um, getting used to getting acclimated to being in the ring and carrying that weight around and getting used to how strong Canelo is. Canelo's fucking strong. Like I don't think people realize how strong Canelo is, but Canelo is strong. So and then I think like rounds 3 through 8, I think that's the only time when Crawford can pick and choose his spots to sit in the pocket and bang with Canelo. Cause I mean, let's get it out in the open. Crawford is not the type of fighter who's gonna dance around, right? Bud is a dog, right? So Bud is going sitting there in the pocket. I personally think that rounds 3 through 8, he needs to pick and choose his spots of sitting in the pocket and get out and box. I just don't think that after round 8, when you get to rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, you cannot sit there in the pocket and bang with Canelo. I just think that the weight will slow him down, and Canelo is a very big puncher. Now I know that you look at the 39 knockouts and 63 fights, and you think, oh well, he's not that big of a punch. You gotta think Canelo was a welterweight. You know, I think he might have been a junior welterweight at one point in time, but Canelo moved up. He's moved up to as far as 175. So, when you do that, the same thing happened with Floyd, right? Floyd was knocking guys out at 135, at 130. I believe he even at 128. I believe he might have turned pro, but um, yeah, man, like it the power dissipated. It wasn't that he wasn't strong; he just wasn't strong enough to overpower guys. And he could knock guys out, but then it would take too much effort. It just wasn't a good stylistic for him to do that, and that's what I feel like Canelo has went through. Canelo has realized that I have the power to press the issue. I have the power that will make guys respect me. We all saw happen when he fought Golovkin, right? He has the power to back guys up. It's just that his power has drifted in a sense from his style of fighting. So now getting back into this matchup, I think that it will be a late round TKO by Canelo, and because of the muscle, like I said, from Crawford, is because Crawford is not a he's not a dance around type of guy. He's not a hit and miss and all of that. He's a guy who fights from angles, and I just feel like that weight carrying an extra 20 pounds on you at fight night is gonna weigh you down. It's gonna make you sit in the pocket more than you want to be. And I think in the late rounds that favors Canelo. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, are thinking like if the fight goes to late rounds, Crawford will be able to outmaneuver Canelo and be able to dance around him and box around him. No, man, he's not. Okay, Crawford is going to be 20 pounds heavier that night. Okay, so he's not going to be doing all that moving and dancing. I guarantee you, he will not be doing all that moving and dancing around in the 10th round, in the 11th round, probably in the 9th round. You'll start to see him slow down. Um, and I just think that that power from Canelo, those shots, those precise shots, people forget Canelo is a precise puncher. He's a precision puncher. And I just see Canelo getting that TKO because, like I said, Terrence Crawford's way to win is to box and move. He's capable, but that's not the dog in Crawford. Crawford's dog in him is gonna make him sit in that pocket like, yeah, let's do this. And I just think that that's the wrong thing for Canelo Alvarez. I just think that's gonna yeah, that's gonna be the demise of Crawford. It's gonna be his downfall. You want to look at guys who came up in weight. Let's talk about the most famous person. Let's talk about Roy Jones. When Roy Jones, when he moved up from light heavyweight, 175, to fight John Ruiz at heavyweight, and Roy beat him by decision. But the thing is that was John Ruiz. Like if it was Lennox Lewis, Roy would have got knocked out. Um, if it was Vander Holyfield, Roy would have got knocked out. So Roy fighting John Ruiz was a strategic thing. Terrence Crawford is going in there to fight Canelo Alvarez, who I think is the best fighter still in the world. Like I know Bud Crawford has had astonishing performances, and I put Bud at number two. Like I'm not gonna take nothing away from Crawford. He's the number two fighter in the world. And he's taking this fight because he wants to be the number one fighter in the world. And people were like, why is he moving up in so much weight? Because he wants it. Like when a guy wants something so bad, you can't tell him shit. So but with that being said, I just don't think Crawford can move up. He's really at 140. So he had one fight at 154. So you're gonna move all the way up to 168 and fight the best fighter in the world? Man. Now like you can look at Jermell Charlo, who did that. Jermell Charlo was a 154. He was a real 154-pound fighter, and he went in there against Canelo. He felt that power and was like, "Oh hell no, I don't want none." Okay, like early on, you could tell he felt it. He was like, "I'm straight. I just got to survive this fight because that boy is strong." And I just don't think Crawford understands, man. Like how strong Canelo is. Like I know they're like, oh, Crawford walks around at 180 and stuff like that. And like, yeah, he does, but it's different when you're actually fighting a guy who is that size. Like Canelo walks around probably 190, and that's why Canelo has the punching power in the body, and he put on muscle the right way to carry that over to the 168 and 175-pound weight classes. But I just don't see Terrence Crawford and his style of fighting being able to beat Canelo. Now, if you want to beat Canelo, you got to do what Floyd and what Bivol did. You gotta stick to that jab, right? You gotta put combinations together, and you gotta move. Um, the jab and movement, jab and movement. Put your combination together and move. I just don't see Crawford being that type of fighter. Like I feel him come. I see him coming from different angles. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't see him moving, like moving. I just don't see all of that moving, and because that's just not his style of fighting, and he can work on that, and that's something that he might do to start off with. But when it comes down to it, you're gonna do what you know best. When you get tired, when it gets late in the fight, rounds 9, 10, you're gonna start doing what you know how to do. Muscle memory, right? And if you're the type of fighter who sits in the pocket, who attacks from different angles, but who sits in the pocket, that means you're gonna sit in the pocket late in the fight against Canelo Alvarez, and he cannot stand up against that. I don't care what nobody says. People getting caught up in, oh, Crawford's this, Crawford's that. That is not his path to victory. And unfortunately, him putting on all that muscle is gonna make him do that. And I see Canelo Alvarez winning by TKO in the 10th round. I don't think I don't think Bud will go down easily. I think Bud will win rounds early on. I think Canelo Alvarez losing the weight is key. Him leaning out, him thinning out his body is key to this fight because now Canelo will more movement, right? Canelo will he'll be able to move a little bit more because Canelo his last few fights has been stocky, just kind of gloves up and just like and that is stylistic now. If he brought that style to the fight, I think Crawford could possibly TKO him. Or he could definitely beat that Canelo Alvarez. That version of Canelo Alvarez Crawford could beat. But I just don't see Canelo fighting like that. Just looking at his body and how he is now in this training camp, he's slimmed down, he's leaner. I don't see him with that. I just see him now more going back to what he used to do, and that was an aggressive counterpuncher. I think people have gotten lost in the recent biasy of him fighting and thinking that he's a straight power puncher, straight just walkie. That Canelo Alvarez used to be an aggressive counter puncher. He's a body puncher and a counter puncher. And I think if he gets back to that, it's going to be a 10th round TKO for Canelo. That's just what I see. I see the weight that Crawford put on being too much in later rounds for him to carry around, and I see Canelo leaning out a little bit, being an advantage. And I think it's an advantage in reverse what everybody's thinking. I think people are thinking, oh, Crawford's put on all this muscle. Crawford's going to do this. Crawford's going to do that. He's not. He can't. He can't. And I just see that Canelo losing some of that bulkiness for being more slender, more toned is going to be in his advantage, man. And I just see Canelo with the 10th round TKO. I don't know why that's just coming to mind. But let me know in the comment section what you think. This is an exciting fight. It's what it's what we all want. I'm still waiting on that Benavidez fight, but hey, this is the second best fight, man. And hey, it's going down. Canelo Crawford, September 13th. Man, I can't wait, man. But let me know in the comment section what you think and how you feel about this mega matchup between the two stars. I'm the Wolvalion coach, Mike Jones. This is Beyond the Ropes. Y'all know how I do it. Peace.